right, if you are live, then we were just doing part 1 a second ago, and so it's just been a couple seconds since we're on part 2. But this is a reharmonization lesson. If I'm not going to explain exactly what's going on here, go back and check out the part 1 on this if you're watching this in the archives. Otherwise, this is probably not going to make much sense. But I guess the short version is this is not really a beginner's lesson where it's going to take a lot more work to actually play any of this stuff, but you're supposed to just pick out a couple concepts and maybe be able to apply those on a much smaller scale. We're making this thing sound ridiculous. We're working on You've Got a Friend in Me. That's our song. And if you would like to follow along with this, like I said, you'll want to go back to part 1 to check that out. So thanks for pointing out in the chat room. I've got this other section over here that I have not even used yet. So we're going to use that. We will not go back and reuse these chords here because that's just too long and too much. Maybe we'll play it 2 times through and use the blue stuff on this other section here. So these are the ones that we're going to be working on right here, the blue, and then just after we finish this one, this lesson, we'll do part 3, which will be all the red stuff here. So we are trying to find new chords for the song You've Got a Friend in Me. So on long chords, we can alternate with the 5. So that would be right here. Now, even though these are more complicated concepts, they are easier to play in a lot of cases, and they're less weird than what we did in part 1. So the end of part 1 sounded super duper weird. It was kind of cool. There were a lot of sections of it that I really liked. But this is going to sound more normal, most likely, and then so we'll probably play this section here, and then we'd go back and play this one here, since that is weirder and sounds more complicated. It might even be harder to play, but it's the concept, how we got those chords, is a lot easier than what we're doing here. So this requires a lot of knowledge of the key and the circle of fifths. So on long chords, alternating with the 5. So here's some longer chords right here, this E flat and this A flat, and we'll also use this E flat right here, I guess. All of those have at least a whole measure for each of those chords. So we're going to alternate with the 5. So going back to this circle of fifths thing over here, if this is the 1, in order to get the 5 of that chord, you would just go 1 step clockwise. So you'd go to right there. That's the 5, if that's the 1. Hopefully that makes some sense. If that's the 1, that's the 5. If that's the 1, that's the 5. If that's the 1, that's the 5. So you just go one move clockwise, and you'll come up with the 5 of that key. Or just know all of your keys and you'll know what the 5s are, but that's what the circle of fifths is there for, is to help you out with that. So then, if we go to these chords right here, the 5 of E flat, and we want the 5 of A flat. The 5 of E flat, we go 1 step clockwise, that's going to be a B flat, and the 5 of A flat is E flat. So on the E flat, we're going to alternate between that and the B flat, to the E flat, to the B flat. Then when we get to the A flat, we'll go from that to the E flat, which is going to sound weird because we're going to be going to the E flat and then to the B flat. But you'll hopefully see how that sounds. So I don't really care for it that much, but maybe at the beginning. The first one was pretty cool. I like that. And then this one, I don't really care for the E flat there, but so that would work there. It's not really going to work as well on a lot of the other sections because they're not long chords. But that's just a way to get through. A lot of times, especially on the Klopple Academy jazz tunes on level 4 and higher, you've got some songs that have just the same chord for 3, 4 measures sometimes, and it's hard to know what to do in there. So you can just use the alternate back and forth between the 1 and the 5. I am going to get rid of this guy here. I hate him enough that we'll get rid of that one. And then we're back at this. Okay, so then back at the blue section, adding a 2-5 or a 6-2-5 or a 3-6-2-5. So what you did before was just play the 5 and then the 1. So back on our circle of fifths here. We've got, in fact, let's go ahead and zoom in so we can, we can see more of that. There we go. So let's take the E flat, for example. If that's the 1, we said that's the 5. Well, if that's the 5, the next one is the 2. And if that's the 2, the next one over is the 6. And if that's the 6, the next one over is the 3. In general, when we're going to be landing on a major chord, the order of the chords is going to be the 3 is going to be minor 7, the 6 is going to be minor 7, the 2 is going to be minor 7, and the 5 is going to be just regular dominant. So a 3-6-2-5-1 in the key of E flat would be G minor to a C minor 7 to an F minor 7 to a B flat 7 to an E flat major. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Cool. So with that information, you can either just use the 5-1 like we were doing, or you can use the 2-5-1, 2, 5, 1, or you can use the 6-2-5-1, 6, 2, 5, or you can use the whole entire 3-6-2-5-1, whatever you've got time for. But in here, I'm going to say, let's go with this A flat right here. We're going to be aiming for that one. That's going to be our 1. We want to go, let's try 3, 6, 2, 5. We might as well. The 3 of A flat is going to be C minor to F minor to B flat minor to E flat 7 to A flat. So maybe we go E flat to B flat. We'll still keep that one right there. So we go to E flat. 3, 6, 2, 5. Now here we've got an E flat coming up. Probably not time to go through the entire 3, 6, 2, 5 because we only got 4 beats and we've got already one of them taken up with the A flat. But we could go, if we go 5 to 1, that would be B flat, 7. So then we could go 2, 5, 1 would be F minor 7. So that would sound something like this. Not too weird at all. And then we could additionally go 6, 2, 5, 1. So the 6 of E flat is going to be C minor 7. So just using 3, 6, 2, 5, 1s, we've got and that's just the first line. And you can do that on any of them. So then we could go, looking at this, we're going to have to delete some chords in here. So for example, if I want to see this as the one, I'm, again, trying to pick these at random, so I'm not listening in my head ahead of time to see which ones would sound best, because I want them to be as random as the ones that you're going to pick, so that if they, so they can sound terrible, basically, here in the lesson. So we would go, we can go 2, 5, 1 to the G7. Nope. I'll tell you why. I just told you I was picking these at random, and then I didn't. The G is not a G. The G is a G7. So it's not a major chord or a minor chord. It's a dominant chord. So this is only going to work, should have said this ahead of time. This is only going to work on a minor chord, going to a minor chord, and on major chords. It's not going to work on dominant chords. So that one right there is out of the question. Sorry. We could do it on the C minor, though. No problem. So 2 to a 5 to a 1 in C minor. Let's talk about that. It's only slightly different from the major one. So it's all the same principles, except that the 3, 6, 2, 5. The 2 is going to be a half diminished, which is a diminished chord. In the case of C, we're going to C minor, a D diminished with the note that is a whole step lower than the root of the chord. So that's the root of the chord. A C would be added in for the half diminished. And then the 5 chord a lot of times can be flat 9 or sharp 9. So you can do all kinds of weird stuff with the 9 on that one if we're going to a minor chord here as the 1. All right, so then we'll try that. The 2, 5, 1, we should have time for a D minor, or D half diminished, sorry, to a G7 flat 9 to a C minor. So now we have E flat to the 5 of it, to a 3, 6, 2, 5, 6, do the same thing here. We could go 2, 5, 1. This is going to be really small. Here, 2, 5, 1 into A flat. The 2 of A flat would be a B flat, minor 7, because we're going to a major chord here as our 1. B flat minor, E flat 7. That's going to have to be really fast. Again from the top. So all of that stuff would work there. We only have a couple more. Changing the chord quality where the melody is not the 3. In other words, if we have this chord, E, and the melody goes, "You've got a friend in me." The melody is the 3 of the chord. The 1, the 3, and the 5, it's the 3. So we can't really change this to like E flat minor chord, because the 3 of the minor is going to clash with what we're trying to sing or play here in the right hand. So anytime the melody is not on the 3, we could change it. So if the melody was here on the B flat, we could change that to an E flat minor chord. That'd be cool. Or if the melody was an E flat, we could change that to an E flat minor. But not if the melody is the 3, because the 3 is the thing that we change in order to turn it into a major or minor. So let's go through and find out the first place that happens. You've got I'm not going to mess with any of those because there's no melody going on, which might make that perfect. Sure, let's do that. I'm going to change these first two to C and F7. Just regular, happy. So if we do that, since there's no melody in there, the melody's on the 3 again, right here. You've got, melody is on the 3 of the C. Friend, that one is not. The melody's there and there. The 3 of the F chord is right here. So we can change that one to an F dominant. F7. Again, that's the 6, 2, 5. There we go. In me, we could change this one to a minor. That would be, I think it's going to sound super weird, but sure, let's try it. That'll be unexpected there. So, and it doesn't work with the 6-2-5-1. I'll explain that in a second. So, you've got a fret. So the reason that doesn't work there is because we already talked about the chord qualities that set up a minor chord and the chord qualities that set up a major chord. And we said the 2-5-1 in the key of, in any key, in a major key is going to be minor 7 to a dominant to a major 7. So if you play minor to a dominant, the whole world expects a major 7 at the end of that, or a major 6. But if you play half diminished to dominant, flat 9, everybody's going to want a minor chord there. So what we did here is we said F to B flat to, trust us, we're going to go to a major chord, and then we didn't. We went to a minor chord. That's why that E flat sounds weird. But it sounding weird is not grounds enough for me to take it out. So I'm going to leave that one in even though I hate it. Yeah, sure, why not? Keep it in. What else do we have here? Change chord quality where the melody is not the 3. Then adding the 13. So this is try them all over the place. I'm going to just go ahead and throw some in here. The 13 is the same note as the 6. We'll say that's true for now. So if you have like a C chord, 1, the 3, and the 5, that would be the 6. That's the 7. That's the 8, 9, 10, 11, or sharp 11, 11, 12, 13. That 13 is the same note as what we just said was the 6. So you can think of it as a 6 or you can think of it as a 13. They are different, but for right now, in just trying to add them in, you just think of them as the same note and try them out. Then later on, we can talk about why they're called different and how you would use them differently. But for right now, let's just try throwing some of those in. So then, let's try, I said I was going to do this randomly. Let's do this one, E flat minor 6. Let's try this E flat 6. Sure, yeah, this is going to be weird. We'll try this one, G, we'll call this one a 13. So then, we get something like this. I'll put a 6 right there at the end of that. Okay, so then we're close to finish with the blue stuff. Backdoor dominance. So the way that we can think of this for right now, just a shorthand, is play a minor 4 chord and then in the bass play the flat 7. And we'll call that a backdoor dominant. Minor 4 chord to a flat 7. So then, that usually is going to work best on longer chords, but we can try it here on some of these short ones. So then we have done almost nothing with this third line here. Let's do some stuff to this third line. We've got, we want most, no, no, I won't even say that. So we're going to try one right here on this E flat. So we'll take the E flat out. We'll take the F out. Oh, that was a terrible decision. And we'll take the C out. We're going to do backdoor dominance on all 3 of these. So on the E flat, minor 4, would be A flat minor, and then the flat 7 of E flat would be a D flat. In a lot of cases, you're going to want to resolve these to whatever the chord was. So you'd want to play an E flat there. So it'd be A flat to A flat minor over D flat. A flat minor, E flat. And then in some cases too, we can play the first chord first and then go to the backdoor dominant and then back to the original chord. So for example, on this F, we could, instead of crossing that out, just add our backdoor dominant. This is kind of like just alternating between the 1 and the 5. You can either play the 1 ahead of the 5, like we do in the 3-6-2-5-1 and land on the 1, or like we did the very first thing, we can just play the chord and then go to the 5 of it and then come back. So treat it the same way as you would treat those normal 5 chords. So the F, these are all terrible decisions. So F, we would go to B flat minor 7 over the flat 7 of F, which would be E flat, because B flat would be the 4 chord. So we'd play B flat minor, and the flat 7 would be the E flat. Okay, cool. And then we'll go back to the F, and then we'll go to the B flat. And then the last one that we said, what did we do already? We went, we landed on the backdoor dominant and went to the original chord. We went to the original chord, to the backdoor dominant, and back to the original one. On this one, we're going to do the last option, which is play the backdoor dominant before the chord and then land on the chord. So once again, I won't be scratching this one out. We'll leave that one there, and then we'll just play the backdoor dominant, which would be F minor over the flat 7 of C, would be B flat. Okay, so that's going to be, yikes. Nope, that was, yeah. No, I'm on the wrong section. Let's go from the beginning. I like that. Let me try those last couple lines again. Those are weird. What is that? Old house. Nope. What is that? Where am I? And you're miles. Okay, so again, if you like some of that and hate some of that, I'm right there with you. Last one is adding passing diminished chords. So let's just say for right now that we're going to take any chord and right before it, we're going to play the fully diminished chord. That's step and a half between each of the notes. So from here, that would be a diminished chord. We'll play the diminished chord that is a half step below whatever the chord is about to be. So for example, on this one right here, coming into a C minor, we would go B fully diminished because B is half step below C. I know, for some of you who know what's going on here, like, wait, that's not different than the G. I know, that's why we're gonna pick them randomly. So we'll do this guy right, that's the same one. We'll do this one right here. So E flat is gonna be a D diminished, and then we'll go, let's pick two other ones. Right here before the A flat, we'll pick G fully diminished, and then, so actually I'm gonna put that over here so I don't forget to play it. G fully diminished. If I put it before the A flat, I might miss it. And then we'll do one more, which is gonna be, instead of just playing the one that's a half step below to the whatever chord we're aiming for, we're going to continue that up through all of the inversions of the chord. So in other words, on a C minor chord, I'd play B diminished to C, then D diminished to C minor again, but looking at the 3 of the chord, half step below the 3, and then also a half step below the 5 into the 5. So it's a B fully diminished every time. Nope, sorry, let me go back. That's true, but don't worry about that. It's gonna be a C minor every time, but I'm gonna go a half step below the 1, to half step below the 3, to a half step below the 5. So let's try that then. We'll go, yeah. That's not true. Yeah, we're gonna stick with that for right now. So we'll do that on, let's try it on one of the C's right here. So we'll go C diminished, not C diminished, but B diminished to D diminished to C minor to F sharp diminished to C minor. There we go. So that'll be like this, B diminished to C, to D diminished to C, to F sharp diminished to C. In some cases, you'll find that if you go a whole step below one of the notes, that'll sound better. So for example, this one right here would sound better as an F diminished instead of an F sharp, because we could be going a half step below the 1, half step below the 3, and a whole step below the 5, which is not always the case. It depends on the chord quality and the context, and if you're doing all of them or just doing one of them. So you could just do a fully diminished chord below the 3, and that would totally work. You don't have to do them in order. But yeah, we'll leave that as an F diminished now if you're okay with that, instead of the F sharp diminished, because that's going to sound too weird to me. Let's try these, see what they sound like. I forgot the beat. I lost my place. Sorry. Miles. That's right. Man. What am I doing to myself? Let's try all of that one more time. Is that our last one? That is our last one. All right, so let's try one good pass at this thing. And yeah, I'll give you your sheet music back. Sorry about that. Okay. I think you've got all the chords there then that I am attempting to play. Good luck to us all. It's supposed to be really fast. Sorry. Now I'm going to try playing that and then going back and playing the one that we did in section 1. Ow! The next one starts on C minor. I'm going to instead, down here at the bottom. This is cheating. I know. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm going to go to a C minor so I can do a C minor interlude that's going to lead us into the first section. That'll be way better. I'm also going to zoom way out. If you, I'll save this and you can print it out with all of my notes on it, but I'm going to need to see the whole thing. Sorry. That's unique. All right. There's lots of stuff in there. If you've followed along with me so far, there's a third part to all of this stuff where things get even crazier. So, and if the thing that I just did right there on the end of that section didn't make any sense, that's because it was from section 1. You had to go back and check out section 1. But if you're live with me, then just hang on a second and we'll be back live and we'll do this section 3. If you're in the archives, then you won't want to go search for either section 1 or section 3. And we'll be doing all of this red stuff, which is where we deal with tritones and all kinds of crazy modal borrowing and all the fancy terms from your music theory class. We'll actually try to put it into practice and make this thing even weirder than it currently is. If you're not going to join me you're not going to join me for the next one, then good luck. Have fun. Hopefully some of that was helpful.